Today, a little quail was born, a quail called Cake. My son wanted to incubate quails. He watched a YouTube video where somebody bought quail eggs from the supermarket and incubated them. So we decided to make an experiment. Would it actually work? We bought quail eggs, we bought an incubator, and we incubated so far one quail. It's interesting that this quail took more than 24 hours. I mean, what I read, it takes between 12 to 24 hours for the quail to hatch once it unzips. But for this quail, it actually took about 40 hours, and I started getting worried. I mean, why is it not coming out? Maybe it was damaged in some way. So what I did was I played it sounds of young quails, and it hatched within 10 minutes or 15 minutes, something like that, really quickly. And I was thinking, this is such a confirmation of the importance of being close to the kin. This is one of my posts that I promised someone to make a video on, a post from yesterday about it's not family constellations, but family ancestry. And so I'm beginning this talk with the story of the quail because it actually hatched, because it heard its kin. It heard a recording of quails that had actually hatched. And this is what gave it the impetus, I guess, to push through. I was actually worried that it won't make it. So happy birthday to the quail Cake. The talk today is, as I mentioned, about family ancestry and how this is important. I watched a video by Aida Markovska, who is a Bulgarian ancestry therapist. And an ancestry therapist is not a constellation therapist, although it may seem similar, but they're not exactly the same. So in this talk, I just want to make sure that you understand the source. I am not the source of this information. This comes entirely from a lecture by Miss Markovska, but I find it so useful, and I'm going to make some parallels to what I know about the transference of energy resonance, how we should treat others, the 7 Essene mirrors, and so on. Let's see where I take it. So Aida Markovska actually states that we come, as we all know, with a very strong bond within our family. And each child is born in a family not by chance. It actually selects the mother and the father who carry similar karmic lessons, because if the two families have different karmic lessons, the child would be too overburdened to further develop and make sure it learns the lessons from the karmic burden if they're different from both families. The firstborn child takes 70% of the father's side of the family karma, and about 30% is then worked after the age of 45 from the mother's side of family karma. But these are, of course, approximations. The second child usually takes on the opposite. So it would work on 70-30 mother's karma as opposed to father's karma. These are all approximations. And Miss Aida Markovska, or Mrs., has a training institute on family ancestry, and she studied many people. It's not that she's taking it out of thin air. There's really a lot of experience and studies behind that. So she says sometimes the love between the family bond is expressed in a very, as we perceive, negative way. So it could be like something like you completely despise the person, or you hate the person in your family. They're the example of the most horrible person in your life. But this strong emotion is an expression of the bond, an expression of your belonging to the family. So the way to reconciliate this relationship is to say something simple like, I have expressed my love to you until now via this, that. And it could be that you have expressed it via suffering on behalf of somebody. It could be that you not knowingly are repeating the karma of your, let's say, grandma on your father's side. Until you realize it and you decide that you no longer want to repeat this because you've had enough suffering. Now you understand what you're doing with your life. Once you have the insight, you can change it. So once you understand, oh, my grandma, for example, suffered because of this and this. Let's assume she didn't feel very much loved, or she didn't feel very much appreciated. She had to move, something like that. And you're experiencing similar things in your life. Then what you can do is you can address your relative, your grandma in this case. It doesn't matter if they're alive or not anymore. You address them in your mind and you say, until now, I have actually expressed my love to you via suffering. But from now on, I'm going to express my love only through love. And then the natural question is, but how will you show me your love then if you're not suffering, if you're not showing you're akin to me? And then you have to do some sort of a ritual, or if the person is deceased, you can light a candle, you can sing them a song, you can do something to show them. And it has to be something that you have the insight for. So you receive this information. It's not like anybody else can tell you what the right thing to do is. You receive this insight of what needs to be done for you to show love and to reconcile the relationship with your ancestor. If the person is alive, of course, you do what they like. Maybe you buy them candy, you go visit them, you call them, you express love to them in whatever way they understand love. So it happens very often, according to, again, to Aida Markovska, that we replay the lessons, or we try to finish the lessons of our ancestors over one generation. So it wouldn't be that you're fixing or like finishing the lessons of your mother and father, but you'd be finishing the lessons of your grandparents, great-grandparents, and back to the 9th generation. Usually the 4th generation is enough to make a picture and to understand what the dynamics is, what is happening in the lives of what had happened in the lives of your family. So it's good to know your family history and the personal stories of your ancestors. What happened in their lives? Did they make an abortion and then told you before they passed away? Or did they have maybe a spontaneous abortion? Or did somebody beat them up or chase them? All of these things that you have heard as a child are imprinted on you. They've been given to you as information so that you can accomplish this lesson and overcome let's say, find the balance between the negative aspect and the positive. So reconcile these extremes on a certain axis of emotions. So it is apparently very important that people have brothers and sisters. I know that lots of people have very strained relationships with their brothers and sisters, but that's not the point. The point is, these are your biggest helpers, because if you're one child, a single child, you carry the burden of the karma of your mother's and father's side alone. Otherwise, you share it amongst your siblings. So you should be very grateful to have siblings, whether you get along or not. That's a different topic. But generally speaking, you share the burden of the family with your siblings in terms of karmic lessons. What else was interesting there? So Aida Markovska shared a story of a lady who wasn't able to conceive. And it turned out that her great-grandma had some negative experience with either her husband or she was abandoned. That was it. She was abandoned, and so subconsciously this young lady who was the client was rejecting having a family, was rejecting finding a man and starting a family. Once she realized this and got reconciled, she started a family. This method is similar to family constellations, in which, again, we reconcile the bonds of love between people. But in this case, we can remedy the situation with rituals that were practiced in our lineage, in our culture also, a few generations back, something that you know. For example, in many countries, people boil wheat and give wheat, this is especially in Eastern Europe, and give wheat to neighbors and to people that they know to commemorate the death of somebody in the family. So there's one particular day, as in Mexico, the Day of the Dead, but you don't have a carnival, but people rather do a ritual to show respect for the person that has passed, to show their bond, their respect, right? So these are not mystical things like you do certain things to please the death. You should know that this is reflecting on your own psychology and on your own energy, because you are shifting, you're giving off things that are weighing on you. So when you make a ritual that you design yourself for whatever purpose, whatever you believe or whatever was practiced in your family, you believe in this ritual. So you unburden yourself from emotions, from the feeling of missing somebody, from whatever feelings are bothering you. But if you find yourself in a very strained family relationship, examine the life of this person and see whether you can see some resemblances, whether you have not taken the suffering of that person unknowingly. And once you realize it, speak to them in your mind, in meditation, and reconcile the situation. We're going to be talking a bit more about this topic at my upcoming sitting, in other words, group call, where it's a lot about discussion. Of course, I'm going to share what I know, but we're going to be talking and sharing like people used to sit at sittings and at circles back in the day. So this is going to happen on Sunday. Check out the link below. It's called Heal, Learn, Grow Sitting. And if you want to try out another method for past reconciliation, where we take you back on your timeline, it could be a past life, it could be genealogically something that you don't know, but somebody down your family tree has been through and you're reliving it, just like what I told you now. I have this option of the big five, getting rid of the big five negative emotions and the big five limiting beliefs. And these can be arising not only from your past experiences, but also from your ancestry. And this can be seen during the session. So I'm going to put a link below if you're interested in booking this one too. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.